Never again.
All right, so hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Between a Pot and a Hard Place. I'm Stephen Colton.
And I'm Chris Kirkpatrick.
And we almost got delayed, but it's okay.
It was like touch or go there for a little bit. You know, it's always the fun thing about having a guest and changing up what we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still excited about having Lee Newton back. I know she had an emergency that kind of came up, so We'll have her back on the show next week.
And anybody out there who's tuning in right now, or is, well, if you haven't already, you're not going to hear this yet, but if you're tuning in for Lee, just know that, she had to, unfortunately, postpone. So she won't be on here tonight. You can feel free to sit and stay for the show. I mean, I know you probably don't want to hear us talk about Flash and stuff, but you're welcome to stay. And you can look at the top part of my shirt because you can barely see it. But yeah, this is the Lee Newton shirt. So, and it happens. She felt so bad. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. It's understandable.
I thought it was really cute that she recorded us a video message, even. So I thought that was a neat way to do it.
Yeah. So. And, it is what it is. I told her, I didn't want her to rush because I know we had the option of doing it later.
Right.
2 hours or so later on. And I was like, that could work. And then I started thinking about it. She would have to, like, in her mind, like, I got to get back. And then didn't want her to have to be pressured into rushing back and getting home and then having to rush to her computer and get ready and all this. So I told her, just take your time and we'll go on. We can,
Well, and I know we had a large group of people who've already, joined us for this giveaway that Lee is doing. And so, I mean, I think we can just simply roll that over and continue it into the next week. So people have more opportunities to win.
I've been keeping a list of people who have liked or shared or retweeted or whatever. And I think I had over 25 people on this list. So, and I was going to have our little prize wheel that we did the one time. I'm going to use that again. So there was all these little slivers on the wheel, and it's fun. One day I'm going to make a physical wheel and spin it. And then, I don't know, maybe make a dry erase wheel somehow.
I think our production budget needs to increase a little bit.
Mark.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of Mark and DC, well, he has nothing to do with this book, but he's associated with what we talk about. And if you guys want to hear a couple more jokes, I mean, the whole book is really a joke in itself.
It is.
I think it's kind of fun.
All right, let's hear a couple while we have an opportunity.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't even know. Why did Red Tornado go to Chicago? Red Tornado. I forgot about him.
I have no idea.
He heard it was
the Wind City.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I mean, well, it's not a good one, but it's not as painful as some of these.
Right. That one was not as painful at all.
Okay, now this is actually kind of funny. It's not a joke, but it's like a little comic panel here.
Okay.
And you have Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and they're talking. They're like, my power ring only works. My power ring won't work on anything yellow. And then Alan Scott says, my power ring won't work on anything made of wood. And here goes some people in the background saying, wow, two superheroes who could be defeated by a number 2 pencil. That's actually kind of funny.
Right.
So I'll maybe leave it at that one because that's,
right.
I just really like this book a lot. And there's over 600 funny things in here. It says funny things. So far, we've only found one. So there must be
funny in air quotes.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put it away because I'm not gonna be able to put it down if I don't put it down now.
You just have to walk away.
Yeah, and another thing, yeah.
No, I was gonna just take a moment to share about your script since we're talking about books.
It's kind of funny that you said that because I was actually holding it, about to talk about it myself.
Okay,
so I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you did, so I don't look so like full of myself. Like, look at my script. Let's talk about it. And it was your idea, so
yeah.
Corey must be watching because I have that psychic ability.
It's possible.
Or the three of you, two of you, and me, and maybe I'm adapting to that. I don't. Maybe I'm like Peter Petrelli, and I'm an empath, and I could pick up on. I don't know.
You could be.
But yeah, it's been interesting, and I've read through the physical version, and I went ahead and most people probably don't put screenplays in a binder, but I did buy a hole puncher so that I could punch it and put it in a binder. It's just easier to hold it this way. Got my title page in the front sleeve.
I mean, you're totally legit now. That's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, most people probably just put the little prongs in the pages and have, or like you suggested, go and getting it bound like a professional. But I kind of like this looking kind of amateur because it is the first draft of the first script, and so maybe one day if I have like, I don't know, a big time director of making one of my scripts or filming one of my scripts, I can go back and be like, this was from the year 2021. It is now estimated value at $4 million. No, probably not, but maybe $4. But
right.
About how much I paid for the binder.
You have heard of people like finding a first draft of something in an estate sale. Right, and that going for a lot of money. So you never know, or you could just will it to me now.
I signed the title page in pencil.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why pencil, but I mean, it won't rub off because it's under this cover. But I mean, someone finds this.
You wanted to sign your name in something temporary, right? I guess.
That way, if I change my name later to like something fancy,
right,
like Stephen McAwesomeness or something as a pen name, I could erase that and write the new one.
You'll be like Prince and just be a symbol.
Yeah, it'll be a $sign.
Right.
With a check mark attached to it. I don't know. I've already begun like writing my own notes, like crossing out, doing this and this. I got a few tips. Of course, I mentioned before, Jay and Todd from Northwood Pie, they had a whole conversation with me about the script, and I sent both of them the completed first draft. And also another friend who is he's written scripts, but he's never produced anything, but he's an actor and he's been in things. And so he's like, dude, I didn't know you wrote one. Let me see it. And I emailed it to him, and he's been reading it, and he's offering some notes. And so it's kind of cool. I have this little system of people that are helping me kind of figure out where to go and kind of how to get there.
I will say that it's when sharing your work and getting some validation that you're heading in the right direction, that other people are kind of getting as excited about your work as you are. That's really the fun part of the whole thing.
It really is. And every time I feel good because every time I go, how terrible is it? They're like, it's not, it's good. And I'm like, awesome. I feel good. Then it's like, but problem. And I don't take offense to that because it's like, I'm hoping somebody goes, this is absolute garbage. This is why. Not that I want to be beaten up, but I want to know. I don't want people to say, oh, you're so good and keep at it, buddy, because I'm not going to learn from that.
Right. I think that every constructive critique is sort of like you're a sculptor and you're just taking off one more chunk of the marble, right? It's not going to become perfect unless you remove all the stuff in there that just doesn't work. So it's a long process. I love to edit. Editing is probably one of my favorite things, oddly enough, to do. So the more eyes you get on that thing, the better.
And it's really cool because, not only do I have so many people, and I have another friend that I don't know why I haven't given this to yet, but, I joined a North Carolina filmmakers group, which is not local to the town, but, in the state. And it's just several writers, directors, and I posted a picture of like I did something today, and then like posted that general picture, and everybody's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, whoa. And then I get a couple of comments saying like, let us know when you're casting. I'm like, whoa, one step at a time here.
Right.
Right. But it's kind of cool that there's a community out there that is ready. And I had this theory of making this film for free or as little as possible to see not only can it be done, but how little can it be done for. I know Jay and Todd told us they made Northwood Pie for somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000. And that's, nothing, but it looks amazing. I would have thought that movie took not $50 million, but, I'm not, no offense, but it wasn't that spectacular. But right. $50,000 maybe, $100,000 maybe.
Yeah.
It looked really good. And I'm really honored to have them not working with me, but giving me advice and kind of like guiding me. A lot of things in this first draft, it was because, they were like, hey, you got to pick a structure. You got to structure this and that. And there's still a lot to do. Because when they were giving me notes on our conversation, I recorded the call so that I can go back and watch it again. My first thought was, let's make it a podcast episode. They're like, dude, do you really want to do that and like spill your story out there before you're finished with it even? I'm like, well, maybe not. But I still have it so I can go back and watch and take notes.
Yeah.
And, a lot of this stuff that they suggested, I haven't done yet because I was almost finished. I had about 68 to 70 pages or so finished. And I think the last chunk is really, really short. I think the third act is like 18 pages, which is pretty short. But again, it's what Jay and Todd, one of their biggest pieces of advice was just, it's all about structuring. You can worry about restructuring later. You don't really have to worry about if it makes sense now. Just, get it done. And then, like you said, and you and everybody else, writing is rewriting. So, and I added, they say there was a funeral scene. I'm not going to go into details about the story, but there's a funeral scene that kind of opens the movie, and it's like a really sad kind of sets the tone of the film. And I think maybe you read that because I think I sent you an early version of what I had.
I think so.
A while back. And that scene is mostly unchanged, but they had this idea that like maybe add humor to sadness so it's not so heavy. Of course, I added like it was like an 8-year-old wrote it probably. So I got to definitely rework that. And then another person is saying like a funeral is serious. You should keep it serious and have humor shortly after it. So I'm kind of struggling. I'm like, there's this suggestion saying like not make the funeral like a Three Stooges act, but add some humor to it to kind of relieve the tension and stuff. And then there's another person saying like, leave it alone. It's like, I have so many different perspectives that I have to like figure out what does work better. So it's a fun process to like hear so many different sides and really kind of go from there. Yeah.
And ultimately you get to choose. Right? That's the cool part.
And then my strategy for making it for free, which I kind of feel bad because so much has happened over the last few weeks and stuff. I had reached out to a teacher of mine when I was in community college here taking graphic design classes, and one of the classes where I learned how to write scripts and stuff. I asked him one day, I was like, hey, would you want to be on our podcast? Because he's been teaching for years. He teaches computer classes, coding development, web design, graphic design, film, all that kind of stuff. And so I've been wanting to get him on here for a while, but I was going to suggest to him one day, like, hey, you have film classes, you have students, people. We did a short film when I was in school where we got some student actors from local colleges, surrounding areas, and they came in and filmed with us for free for the experience. And so many actors out there who are just starting out, just want to get something together, want to get, a highlight reel or something. I'm thinking, here's a script. You have students, you have people, learning experience for both of us. I could even learn to direct or have someone else direct for the experience of directing, and get it all done basically for free. And say, hey, use your equipment at the school, because the school has cameras, editing equipment, sound equipment, lighting, all that stuff. And I already have a kind of a connection and relationship with the teacher and with the school. So, hey, $12 is the budget for this film. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I think it would be good, not just for me to get out of doing it for more money, but to really give everybody the opportunity to learn something and create an experience where like so many people helped me. Like maybe I can bring this forward and help other people with it.
you really never know who you might inspire.
Right. And maybe my luck is one day when this happens, maybe somebody like Woody Harrelson is in Asheville, which here where I live, which he's been spotted here before. Someone saw him downtown playing chess with random people that live here. Like, where'd that come from? Woody Harrelson of all people.
I never would have thought of Woody Harrelson as being a chess player.
Me either. And you know, we have Steve Martin like an hour away. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm a bigger Steve Martin fan than I am Yeah.
But speaking of Woody Harrelson, while we're talking about it, you know, did you see the new the Venom 2 trailer?
I have not.
Because, you know, they released a Venom 2, what is it called? Let There Be Carnage, I think.
Right.
It looks pretty good, honestly. They kind of changed his hairstyle. If you remember in the end of Venom, they had that kind of teaser post-credit scene where, you know, Cletus Cassidy is in prison and Eddie Brock is going to see him. And he's like, hey, he's got the kind of like Sideshow Bob haircut.
Right.
Well, in the newer trailer, he's kind of just got a more natural haircut. It's still red, but it's not like some Sideshow Bob kind of curly hair. It's more short, you know, shorter and more natural. But it looks amazing. You get a glimpse of Carnage in the film, and it's just, of course, you see the comedic value, but with Venom and Eddie Brock, it's like they're going into the convenience store and they're like, "Hey, Venom, how you guys doing?" And it's like, I still don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's funny, it's entertaining, but it's like, at what point will Venom become evil, if ever? Because, you know, we all know he's a pretty bad guy, killing people and doing all these evil things. But who knows? I'm looking forward to that movie, though. Honestly,
I finally went and saw the very first movie.
Okay.
And I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a little bit darker than a lot of other Marvel movies that are out there. Definitely darker than what they had done with Venom in Spider-Man. And so, but I liked it. I thought that they made Venom interesting, especially that kind of battle that was going inside of you know, the main character's head. Level of how does he still function as himself and yet you know, interact with the symbiote. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that next movie.
I am too, and I hope that there's a day that the Venomverse can cross over into MCU, because even if it's not that Venom, bring another Venom. They might as well use the existing Venom. It's easier,
right?
But we already can tell that Venom in that universe in that New York is not the same New York as what we're seeing now. And if it is, it could be another timeline. It could be in the future or in the past. Who knows? I just wanted to throw this up. Corey is here. See?
Okay.
So that's why I knew you were going to talk about the script.
Right.
He pulled.
Corey is always watching. Well, so now talking a little bit about shouting people out. Why don't you go ahead first and put up our Twitter.
Yes.
Stuff. And before we started tonight, I had thrown out on Twitter that if you were to like and share the post, that I would give a shout out. And so, first person who jumped on there was a guy named Frankly Put, and it's at F Overdone. Anyway, he was the first one to go and like and share. And so throughout the night, I will be going and just giving shout outs, like for Frankly Put, for those people that like and share our post here for the podcast here tonight.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, and anybody that's ever, we haven't done this before. I mean, we kind of did it the one time, I think, when we did our first giveaway, or not our first giveaway, but the Arrowverse Mark Guggenheim giveaway. Have someone come on to the show, and of course, that night we became an official guest. Corey was on, and he stayed the whole time. But it would be cool to maybe one day have somebody pop in, sort of like an old radio show where you listen in the morning and they call in and just pop some people up and hear and be like, "Hey, yeah, I saw Venom. That was good," and then they leave, and you know that could be fun too.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So our Twitter is here. We're gonna have them all up here. We got Mark Guggenheim, we're gonna, you know, every time you hear this show, you're gonna hear that man's name. probably until we're 100 sitting here like, welcome to Between a Putt and a Hard Place.
Amazing, you're so amazing.
Yeah. And then Mark Guggenheim looks exactly the same and is still rich and famous, and we're all like, oh, we're so old, and you are too, but you look exactly the same. So follow Mark on Twitter, and then our show page at Pod and Hard Place. And like you said, like, retweet, we can give you shout outs. Then at CJ Kirk 1979, so much easier to say. And then myself at Stephen Colton. And yeah, so that's our main Twitters and everything. And of course, you're watching it here now, but facebook.com/Between a Pod and a Hard Place. Tell your friends about it. Yay. And then if you come in now, you'll get a free copy of my script. No. It's signed in pencil.
Signed in pencil. Yeah. Makes it official. All right. Yeah. What show did you want to start with tonight?
I guess we can go in order. I guess we can start with Legends. We always start with Flash, and I feel like we always push Legends to the end and then kind of like shortchange it sometimes.
Well, I've got to say first and foremost that when it might have not made a big impact on you, but last week's episode of Legends was set in San Bernardino.
Yeah, I actually instantly when I heard that, I thought, oh, I know who lives there around that area.
I mean, I currently live in Highland, but for the last 15 years,
right,
I've lived in San Bernardino, and it's nice to know that we're not just known as one of the most dangerous places on earth, but that we're also known as the birthplace of fast food.
Yeah, I mean McDonald's itself, right there,
right.
The very first McDonald's with McDonald's brothers, and if you haven't seen it, I know this is kind of like pushing or going off the wall here, but the founder with Michael Keaton I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really good film.
Yeah,
it really is, and I think it's worth checking out, even like historical reference. I mean, it's probably not 100% accurate, but it's still a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you find out about how some of these mega chains ended up, getting off the ground? And
I had no idea how big of I don't want to say crook, but how big of a businessman Ray Kroc was, and an opportunist, because the story of how he went from selling milkshake mixers to being like the father of this multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's amazing. But yeah, Legends kind of touches on that, which I thought was really, really cool.
It does. And it's, I think what I like about Legends is it just doesn't take itself too seriously.
Right.
I mean, essentially we were watching an episode about people eating alien goo.
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of bodily fluid that was. I'll leave it to the imagination, but we know it was fluid emitting from an alien life form. So.
Yeah, I don't know. And who in their right mind is going to go, oh, alien fluid, let me put that on a burger.
Yummy. And the fact that it tasted good, is it weird that I wanted to try it? Because I'm sitting here imagining it tastes like Thousand Island dressing or something like that.
It probably does. It kills you. I mean, that's the real, it addicted people, and then it controlled them and it drove them crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever watch the movie The Stuff?
I vaguely remember the name, but I'm not sure that I've seen it.
I mean, it's certainly more of an age, I think, in the 70s or the early 80s, sort of like The Blob.
Okay, yeah.
The idea of it, though, was that there were some men that were out on patrol, and bubbling out of the ground is this milky white substance, and one of them has this crazy idea to taste it. And before he knows it, he's addicted to it, and he gets his buddy to try it. And almost overnight, everybody is eating this stuff. They're selling it in containers. People are inviting each other for parties. And before we know it, the entire world is enslaved with this stuff.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I got to check that out because I don't think I have seen that. And that's got to be, it could be a huge coincidence, but something tells me that they probably use that as a basis.
I'm sure that there's there's there is some basis, and I've heard other people that have said that sounds vaguely familiar to the stuff. But I also remember an old Teen Titans episode where it was called New Fu. It was an alien, and it basically they were selling burgers that were made out of the alien. So I think that there is certainly some background about where that comes from, at least in the comics, but I'm not really familiar with it. So if anybody else out there watching kind of knows the backstory on that, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, that's I don't. That does. Yeah, I'm trying to think it in my head. I'm like, I have no idea, but that sounds pretty cool. And yeah. I love too how, obviously that was a McDonald's reference, not that, but like the whole story of Legends. Because at one point the guy is like, or was it? I forget who it was. The man, we find out his wife is like harboring this alien in the attic and stuff, and he's like, I don't know what's her recipe. Or was it her that says it? I believe it's him, though, that says, I don't know. We're going to... No. It was... crap. I don't remember. I'm so distracted because I'm thinking of so many things at once. Somebody said the Mix Something Brothers. And that was just like, oh, okay. That was awesome. I don't know why. I thought that was so funny, but it was. The Mix Something
Brothers. It was an interesting episode. And again, just the fact that it's sit in Southern California, in San Bernardino, in an area that I'm familiar with. I thought that was kind of cool. We really kind of were focusing on two completely different sides of the show. Mm-hmm. There was the group that was focused in 1955, Southern California, and then you have, Sarah Lance, who's still kind of just stuck in the middle of nowhere in outer space
with Gary,
right? I mean, there are easier ways to die, I think, frankly. I realize that Gary Green is all the man we need, but still, Sarah's out there, and Ava doesn't know that she's alive, and and who do they bump into? They bump into Amelia Earhart.
Yeah. Because you see her dog first.
Right.
And you're like, this dog, I thought the dog was going to turn into like a big Bebo or something. With that show, you never know. But it turns out it's just a dog, which is fine too. And then you see Amelia Earhart. I didn't know who to think of when I first see her. I'm like, who is this supposed to be? And then they tell us, and then she's strangely in a mind loop or something. She's just like repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. And I don't remember if I ever noticed why that was, or if it was just the effect of being on that planet. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, they really kind of left us on a cliffhanger with that part of the story.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that tonight we're going to see what happens
with that's right.
Amelia Earhart.
It's on right now, I think, right? Or
it's
in the East Coast.
On for you.
Yeah.
Or it was. It's not. It won't be on for me until 8:00.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be watching that if I stay up late enough tonight or tomorrow.
Right.
Because I noticed at like 2 a.m. or so they'll start airing the day before episodes. That's how I watched Flash and Legends last week, because I completely forgot to watch all of them. I couldn't believe it. Tuesday night, I'm just sitting here at like 9:30, like, oh. But I thought it was cool when you see the monster or alien burst out from this cocoon thing, and it's like this big bat bird thing.
It was like Mothra.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. It was more of like a
It looked like to me. It reminded me of Mothra.
That's true. It was pretty cool to see it like flying around, and I thought it was gonna. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I thought maybe it would pop open and you would see like Grimace come out, or I'm always thinking Bebo every single time because you never know. But it was kind of cool.
Yeah, we're going to be perpetually disappointed that it's not Bebo.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. I love too, like the biggest moment in the show for me, not the biggest moment, but the coolest, like, aha kind of thing was what was the name of the restaurant in the beginning of the episode? It was Big Burger or something, or Big Time Burger.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it was a rip on Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the part that was interesting was, this woman who was like kind of nurturing this moth creature ends up getting eaten by it almost immediately. And then, of course, the other guy ends up getting killed as well. So then you have, like, who was it? Like the drive-through lady or something, like, took over? Or, no, I forget what she was, but she was an employee there. And she ends up as the owner and then names it Big Belly Burger.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, they just wrote the Big Belly history.
I know. It all comes around full circle.
I love moments like that where time travel, it confuses me, but those moments are amazing because then I get stuck in that momentary mind loop of, did Big Billy Burger always have this history? Or did it exist before they did this? And never mind, it doesn't matter. Yay.
Right. Well,
and
we should just thank the Legends for helping to create Big Billy Burger.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for them, then, Oliver Queen, Felicity Smoke, Harrison Wells, other Harrison Wells, other Harrison Wells, other Harrison Wells. If you got 20 minutes, I'll list the rest of them. No. But yeah, all these people have eaten and referenced Big Belly Burger. And I thought that was a really cool way to kind of just tie everything in together.
Yeah.
Super fun.
I know. Let's see. You watched The Flash?
Yeah, The Flash was, The Flash. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like this show has such a slower pace, and The Flash isn't so flashy lately. Like, he's not like, oh, a villain, put his mask on, and then race, and then he's hardly been The Flash at all in the last couple episodes. And when it was just like, I have to run to check the mailbox and come back. It's not like some big epic thing that he has to do. That's okay though. I mean, the story is good enough, and we see more escalate with the Speed Force, and we find out that Barry and Iris are pretty much the parents of all the forces. That they single-handedly created them, and we have a time travel moment, and I'm just like, yay, time travel! And I liked the way they did that time travel, because basically, new wells, original wells, or what they're calling timeless wells, can essentially build a bubble to preserve time in those moments. So it made me wonder, which they're probably never going to do, but like, couldn't he go back and like save his mom without changing anything else? Because, Wells could help him, or Cisco could get his brother back, or any number of things could happen, and they could preserve the timeline. There'd be no danger. But
wouldn't that be great? I mean, I think that they've been taught the lesson about being careful about how you mess with time. Even with the, you can mess with time and it won't change anything. With Harrison Wells, I still think they better be careful what they do.
Yeah, I mean, there will be some side effects for changing time, because he can only protect so much in a certain little bubble, really, a certain little window, and it won't reach out. He can't like put a shield over the entire world. So there would be some trickle down effect of some kind, but it'd be kind of interesting. And knowing that, Tom Cavanaugh is leaving, kind of makes you wonder why they went so far, and how. Well, maybe he's in the rest of the season a lot more, but based on this last episode, it's like he was done. That's how they made it seem.
Right.
And they give him this huge power of like being able to change time, go through time whenever he wants, and protect the timeline as he does it. And he's like, this is a great power, and it could be a tremendous asset to your team, but see you, bye.
Like, you're never going to see it again.
Yeah, like that seems kind of weird to like, why even go there? Why even make it? So I don't think he's quite done yet. At least I hope not. There's got to be more Reverse Flash coming. I mean, there just has to be, but maybe we can get a different guy to play Reverse Flash. But overall, I thought the episode was pretty good. I mean, Barry has a decision to make, and he's like, well, I'm going to do it. And basically everybody else tells him, no, it's a bad idea. And classic Barry, I'm doing it anyway. Really made me think of season 1 and 2 where he was like, I'm going to change time. I'm going to save my mom. No, you shouldn't do it. I'm going to do it. All right, I guess we'll support you, but you shouldn't do it. And then, so I loved kind of how they pushed back to that point. And the feel of the whole thing.
Right. Once again, Barry gets right to that point, right to the moment, and then stops himself.
Yeah. Which I kind of wanted to see what would happen.
Right. You could make the argument that Barry is at least learning. I mean,
yeah.
You relate this to him in Flashpoint, where he went back and changed things and didn't care about the consequences. And at least at this point, he's gotten to a place where he stops before he does something that he was really going to regret.
Yeah, and I think I don't know why Barry gets so stubborn. Like, why? For like 7 years, he's made these decisions where everybody else has told him, no, don't. And for 7 years, they've proved him wrong. You'd think he would start trusting their opinion more than he does, but he doesn't. And I cannot remember why stopping the forces was a bad thing.
Well, I think we didn't we see the effect that Barry's actions had on the forces. They started to get like electrocuted.
Yeah, I think it was hurting the people.
Yeah.
And he realized, well, it's not worth it because those people would still hold like some physical effects and everything. And it was just like, okay, no, don't. It might have been a good thing for the Speed Force to be uncreated because, who knew the Speed Force was such an asshole? Like, and why? Like, makes me wonder. I still hold on to the theory that it could be Eobard Thawne, or at least he's corrupted the Speed Force in some way. They've still not shown that to be false or to give me any idea that it could be something else.
I don't think anybody was necessarily surprised that the Speed Force, in the form of Barry's mother, turned out to be evil.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't trust her to begin with, and I think Barry didn't trust her as much as he wanted to, and I think we just realized first and foremost is on the Flash, anybody that the team ends up trusting, they're going to turn around and stab him in the back.
Always.
Every single time.
Even Barry himself, several times have turned. I mean, it wasn't his fault, but still, he turned his backs on them when he created Flashpoint, and he was only thinking about himself, with the greediness, and then of course Savitar, which wasn't really Barry, but kind of. So, and then we had what we thought was going to be negative Flash, but it was like Bloodwork Flash or whatever you want to call him, which I was a fan of that. I wish it could have lasted a little bit longer, but yeah, everybody has, even Nora Westalen, the daughter, turned her back on him by, violating their trust and working with Thawne after knowing what he was capable of and what he did. Maybe everybody but Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick's been a pretty good guy.
He has been. And the fact that we're going to see him both on The Flash and on Stargirl.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I'm still curious if it's going to be the same Jay Garrick. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. I'm thinking it probably will be. But either way, it's going to be cool to see him like twice. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We do know that when Oliver Queen rebooted the universe and the Paragons all kind of focused on helping to reboot the universe and to restore it, that a lot of people who had died ended up being brought back.
That's true, yeah.
And in my mind, considering the sacrifice that Jay gave them to buy them some more time, he certainly deserved the right to be brought back too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah. Well, I was going to say the same thing, basically.
I stole your words?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, because we know that happened because Corey's here.
Yeah.
He's got that power to, like, push thoughts and pull thoughts. I'm trying to think, yeah. I mean, that pretty much covers the whole episode. I mean, there wasn't a lot of excitement. There was excitement in the main story, but, like, as far as side things and crazy things going on, we find out that they've already planted. We knew this all along, that, Carlos Valdez and Tom Cavanaugh were leaving, but they planted the seeds in the storylines. We see this. So Camilla and Cisco are leaving, it seems like, and Wells. So it's like, who do we have that are coming in? Well, I seem to remember, the big announcements that Nora West Allen and Bart Allen are going to be entering the show this year. The end of the show.
That is so huge.
So it looks like those two characters, which it is massive, because number one, Nora's coming back. Nora shouldn't be here. Nora shouldn't be here. I love that. When he's like scratching the walls and Nora shouldn't be here. Anyway, she's coming back. So it makes you wonder, is it going to be the same Nora? Will she have memories of when she was there, or it's post-crisis Nora? So we don't know. She could be, wiped from existence originally and then comes back because she was rebuilt. Or right.
We know her as Nora, but if it's comic accurate, don't Barry and Iris have twins?
They do, but I think it was and they've already kind of taken liberties with it, because the main one being that Bart Allen in the Flash will be the son of Barry and Iris, which in the comics it was their grandson.
Right.
That was the big one, and so many people were confused and like arguing online. It's his son. No, it's not his son. Yes, it is. You're dumb. And I was one of them. I'm like, it's his son, clearly, because that's what was being said. And then not only that, but I believe in the comics, I think the twins, weren't they like Dawn and Dawn, like Don, the boy Dawn, and then Dawn is the girl Dawn, and they were the twins, like tornado twins or whatever they called them, or whatever. I don't know the history. I don't know the comics that much.
I just know it. I know it vaguely, but I just know them as the Tornado Twins.
Yeah, and I think their names might have been different in the comics, because it definitely wasn't Bart, because Bart Allen was a completely different. Again, it was their grandson, so that's probably their version of that. And it makes me think back to when Nora and Barry went back to see Thawne in the Speed Lab, and not the Speed Lab, but the Cortex, or wherever he was at the time. It was a Speed Lab. He was in that little room with Gideon. Or the Time Vault. Why did I say Speed Lab? I meant Time Vault. And, they're getting his help. And he's like, oh. And he sees Nora coming out, and he's like, what did he say? He called her a different name, Dawn. He's like, Dawn, I presume. No, Nora. Nora, well, at least you have one. And I always thought he was referencing Nora's. Like the mother Nora was dead, and he's just poking at Barry like, I killed your mom. Ha, ha, ha. Or he could have meant one child, where Bart was the other one. He's like, where's Bart? But then again, I think it was more of a reference to, because I think they had, because Dawn was the kid in the comics, but then Nora was never. So that confused me. I mean, so I was just thinking, like, I wonder if he was referencing Bart Allen as his son. And it's like, where's the other one? Who knows? But I'm interested to see how that's going to work. Like the storyline that brings Bart to the present. They've already toyed with the idea of time travel. And we already know that Nora being there kind of ruined a lot, and that made so many problems. So I'm wondering if Wells has something to do with it, with his ability to bring them maybe without disrupting the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, we know that according to the comic books and even the animated shows, that characters from the future come back to the past and end up here. Yeah. It's not uncommon at all. So, and I think that this is supposed to be for their 150th episode.
Yeah, which is not very far from now.
No. So that's a big deal. I've even heard that they're hoping that this might end up turning into some kind of spin-off series.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, because there's thought that Flash will end at season 8, which, I mean, there's that big idea because, Arrow ended at 8. 8 seems to be a good amount, I mean, how much more story can you tell after 8 years? And then I've been reading into some drama about Candace Patton, who, plays Iris, some old tweets resurfacing. And I don't know if you've read anything like about that.
I did. I
don't want to go too into detail, but I saw a couple of them, and it seemed it's what seems to be some like transphobic tweets, but I don't know. I really don't know, because it didn't seem like she was attacking anyone or saying you're bad for this or you're bad for that, but it was still questionable. Like, should you have tweeted that? And so, who's to say if she comes back next year? I mean, because if people made some valid points online. They said, you took Hartley Sawyer and fired him for basically the same thing. His tweets were a little bit more graphic, a little bit more edgy, but still the same concept, the same principle. If you're going to let him go for that, but you're going to keep her for that, I mean, it's like, be fair about it. Let him come back, I'm not really crying over no more elongated man. I haven't really missed him all that much, but
right.
I think people deserve the chance to be kind of redeemed at some point, after a little while. But it kind of remains to be seen what's going to happen with her. Are they going to just sweep it under the rug? Because, well, I mean, she's one of the main characters. Without her, there is no Flash, because we are the Flash.
Right. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to break up Barry and...
yeah. Or they could easily recast her. I mean, I don't think they should, but they could.
Well, you think about how that's affected the other shows that have recast.
Yeah.
Right? For Batwoman and for Black Lightning, I mean, it really has just blown giant holes in their shows, and they have not recovered either one.
Yeah.
From that. That said, if we are going to be consistent with this idea that if you're tweeting hate on social media, and if it comes out that that there are consequences for it.
I also had the question in my mind, though, when I read some of that stuff. I didn't read the actual tweets, but I saw screenshots and stories, articles about it, and I thought to myself, is this the entire conversation? Could it have been? I'm always trying to find, anytime I read anything horrible like that, I'm always trying to find some sort of explanation. Is there some context that was lost that we didn't see? Was this quoted with sarcasm to say, don't say these things? This person said it, not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the story is. My mind always goes to that, though. It always goes to, like, did they say this because they're hateful, or did they say this because it was sarcasm or that? But even with sarcasm or joking, you need to be mindful of what effect those words are going to have, regardless if they're sarcastic or not.
It is. I don't know how old Candace Patton was back in 2011.
Okay, yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Probably like 19 to 21, somewhere in there.
I mean,
but still, it's old enough to know.
It is. I mean, what's crazy, and I think that what people are finding out is, man, I better be so careful. If you're a celebrity, you better really watch what you put on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, there is a line, I think, but it's kind of blurred because on one hand, you're an individual, you say things, you grow and learn to not say those things. I've changed drastically in the last 10 years, and I know everybody does. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody says things either in the heat of the moment they don't mean them, or they do mean them, but then they learn from their mistakes and they change. But at the same time, if you put this stuff online and you leave it there, I mean, why not just kind of like say, look, I said some bad things, I take them away, I'm sorry, and not wait till you're caught to do so. Because you know what you said. You know you said it. You just maybe hoping no one sees it, I don't know. I hope I'm in a weird spot mentally. It's like, I hope she doesn't get fired, but then again, I hope she does, just for fairness and consistency. Like, if we're going to do it to one, do it to all. But then it's like, if they do get rid of her and Iris, say, dies or whatever, where do they go? You know, you lose Cisco, Wells, Ralph, Iris. Like, all these people are going away. And it's like, at that point, you would almost kind of have to end the show.
Yeah.
Because all you have left is Barry and the new kids.
Right.
You know?
I think that is the, I'm sure that is it's going to be a big part of their conversation. She'll need to make a public statement about how, you know, that was, that might have been something she had said 10 years ago, but that it is not a reflection of how she feels about things now. And she might need to take some time to focus on herself and to you know, really just make sure that she, you know, learns from this experience.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sorry that this might reflect badly upon the show or the production company. I mean, I think that they may allow her to save face because of how old they are, but I don't know. I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, maybe they should come on here and discuss it.
You know what? I would totally welcome it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so anybody out there, if you know any of these people associated, tell them to come on the show and talk about it. I think Jay said he was didn't he say he worked in marketing for those shows? I mean, or something like that. So, like, hey, if you're watching and you know any of them, tell them to come on and talk to it. No. Who knows? That would be awesome, though. That would be cool. Hopefully, you know, it all works out. And I got to say, before Flash ends, I would like to see Ralph back, I think. I mean, I think because that dude went silent. Like, his social media froze. Like, the accounts are still there, and they just have been inactive for like a year. So,
right.
I don't know if he's just twiddling his thumbs in a log cabin or what, but I don't know. I think he deserves a second chance.
You know, I've found that there are some celebrities that just do not have an account active.
Yeah.
Or if you have an account that they're on, it's not. It doesn't have like one of those, you know, blue marks by it.
Oh yeah, you don't know if it's real or not real.
You know, and I think that, you know, perhaps the not being able to get away from social media. I mean, you could just imagine.
No.
Being, you know, hounded by people all the time, wanting a piece of you.
Yeah, I know he had an Instagram account that was official, and it almost died immediately following his post about, like, I'm sorry for what I said. That was like his last post.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. Like, I would probably fall off the face of the earth too if it was me in that situation, because, you know, you don't want everybody to come at you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, the way things go, you know, there is no. We have unfortunately seen a situation where, and again, before I say this, I believe that if you do something wrong, that you need to deal with the consequences of your actions, no matter what they are. But we are living in an age where if you admit to doing something wrong and take responsibility for your actions and publicly apologize and show contrition, the punishment is the same, or sometimes even less than people who just simply say they either refuse to apologize or don't even accept responsibility for their actions.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up, actually.
And I just, you know, you see a lot of people who admit their wrongdoing openly, publicly apologize, and they still lose everything. And
yeah.
Well, why would somebody tell the truth? I mean, you could say that, you know, oh, that tweet, that's not mine. Somebody took my phone and, you know, tweeted it without my consent. I mean,
which has happened in some cases with celebrities going crazy. I was hacked. Like, right. Were you, or maybe not?
But I'm surprised that we don't hear that more often.
Yeah, I mean, you would think.
Part of me goes, shouldn't they get at least a little credit for owning up to their mistake and trying to make it right, even if there are consequences? Do they deserve to lose everything as a result?
Yeah, I mean, maybe even too, if it's like an actor in a show like The Flash or whatever, give them some opportunity to redeem themselves by going to therapy or counseling or some sort of rehabilitation of some kind. You know what I mean? Like to show that they're making an effort to not only like apologize, but to actually physically change, not physically change, but like mentally change who they are.
Right.
Or not who they are, but you know what I'm saying? Like, make up for the mistake and like learn from it. Gosh, now that's a weird note to be on. It's like, oh, all these sad celebrities and wow, where do we go from there?
Well, let's talk about let's kind of turn a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
You didn't watch uh, Batwoman,
I did not. Oh,
so
I knew there was. I need to watch like 3 or 4 of those.
you need to catch up. The big thing you need to realize is, we know that Wallace Day is currently portraying Kate Kane on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That really revealed her. Kate Kane's character had been horribly mangled, and
Yeah.
what's funny is at the very beginning of this season when they were introducing Ryan's character, uh, I had made the argument that we needed to have uh, Alice simply make her a new face.
Yeah.
And I think somebody out there heard me, because that's exactly what they're doing with Kate Kane, right? Her face is torn up. All this being able to change people's memories, make them forget, make them become essentially a different person.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've done, is they have mentally manipulated her into thinking that she is someone else's daughter, that guy with the black mask.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and they had Alice and forced Alice to give her a new face. And while Alice is working on giving her a new face, she looks her in the eyes, and she's like, "Why do you have my father's eyes?"
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So, and as she pulls back, we see Wallace Day's face revealed, perfect and pristine. Um, Alice knows who she is, that it really is her sister, that her sister is alive.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I do think the idea, though, that Kate Kane could be so easily brainwashed and manipulated. I felt like
Yeah.
we had known about her was her mental toughness.
Yeah.
You feel like that should have been harder for them to break her.
You would think. I mean, because she was Batwoman for a whole year.
Right.
Well, for longer than a year, and within their timeline, but yeah, I mean, she was strong-willed. Like she wasn't some weak-minded like these are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. Like she wasn't so easily. Yeah, I don't know. Unless they just beat her so relentlessly and maybe not bribed her, but like kind of convinced her that if she let go, or maybe they drugged her. I don't know.
Well, and the character Enigma, they've introduced her, that Enigma was working with Sophia. She's done a lot with being able to hypnotize people and being able to, make them forget, and that kind of stuff. So they've been seeding this for us for a while. I remember a couple years ago, I went and saw a hypnotism show, and I am the biggest skeptic, right? I walked into this going, this is fake. It's just a joke. People just go up on stage and they act stupid on purpose. And that's what I expected, right? And we went to we went. Me and my friends went to the first show and watched it, and it was hilarious. The guy brought people up onto the stage, and the people freaked out, and he put them under and made them see things, and we thought it was hilarious, but we also thought it was a big joke. And people were just acting, and that's how it was. And at the end, the guy says, "I'm going to hypnotize all of you in the audience right now, and you're all going to come back for my show in an hour."
Oh wow!
And what happened? We all ended up, me and my friends ended up coming back to the show, his second show, an hour later. But in that second show, both of my friends got called up on stage to be hypnotized, and I was really bummed that I had not been chosen.
You're like, man, why didn't you hypnotize me?
I felt really left out. Right?
That would be disappointing.
And my two friends get called up, and I got ditched. And then I watched what happened to them on stage. Neither of them actors. Both of them very independent people. And I watched them both get hypnotized. And then one of my friends ended up, they played seductive music and had him stripped down on stage in front of thousands of people. They stopped him before it got dangerous. My other friend, they had planted a hypnotic suggestion on him that he was supposed to do something when a certain word was said. And, he had returned to the office, to the audience where I was. All of a sudden, the guy on stage said a word, and before I knew it, my friend was walking across the auditorium in front of everyone going, "Here, lizard, lizard, lizard. Here, lizard, lizard, lizard." And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after the show when I talked to them about it, and they could not remember a single thing.
That's wow.
Yeah, and it taught me a lesson. Number one, it is be careful who you let fuck with your head.
Right.
That is absolutely something that I learned for myself.
I mean, maybe they were really, really, really good actors, and you just didn't know it. And all the time you knew them, they were like, "I'm not an actor." But they really were the whole time. It's less likely that was the case, but that's pretty interesting. I've always wanted to get hypnotized or whatever.
I had always thought it would be interesting to experience it. It's just like going to a medium and having your fortune told, or to see if they're legit or not, right? And or to see if you can outsmart them and reveal them for the frauds. They are. And it was one of those moments where I realized, okay, there are some frauds out there, but this guy isn't one of them. And I went from being jealous about not getting called up to being so thankful that I dodged that bullet. Right?
I don't know. I was going to say I would kind of want to be in that situation so that I can say, like, I do remember. But then if you don't remember, you don't remember. Like, you're not going to be able to control it.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of worked because me being in the audience as they were up on the stage, I was able to witness it and tell them exactly what happened.
That's
crazy. It was crazy. So I mean, as much as I want to say that, wiping Kate's mind so she can't remember anything and being manipulated psychologically into becoming another person, whether we like to believe it or not, it is real. It is possible. So,
I mean, that is a superpower in a way. I mean, mind control. I mean, not mind control, but in a sense, it's, which makes me believe now that the Jedi are even closer to reality.
Right. Hey.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
So, have you yet watched Mandalorian?
I have not. I know. I have to.
Me, Steven?
I have to. I went to the local Comic-Con yesterday, and it was fun. I mean, we went early. We're kind of talking about Star Wars now, and sort of. So there were some Star Wars characters. The coolest Boba Fett that I've ever seen, well, probably the only Boba Fett I've ever seen in real life, as far as the costume goes. I loved it because it was like talking to all the little kids, like, "Hey, buddy, nice costume," but he said it in like a Boba Fett kind of voice from a speaker, and that was really cool. How that came out of the speaker, the helmet and everything wired together, and it's just amazing. Then you had the little droid running around. I still don't know what the droid's name is. I'm not really good with droid names. A lot of people are like, that's R2D2, that's L251 or whatever. It was basically an R2 unit that was red and gold and white. And it was remote controlled. He was running around like beep boop woo. And it's like, what? And then you see him like spinning around you and his head turning and everything. And it's just like, this is a real droid. Holy crap. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Like it was so cool to see it like running around like beep boop, boop. And then we would walk off in the distance and the guy would have the droid running around all over the place throughout the day. And every now and then you'd hear like, when he like gets thrown across the room or whatever. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
See a couple of stormtroopers walk by. Then at one point there was a Princess Leia over there with Boba Fett and a stormtrooper and the droid. And I'm just like, man, I want to get pictures with all these people now. Because the first time we walked by, it was like Boba Fett and the droid. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay. Then they had this little Yoda on the ground. And it was just really cool. And then I think not all, but more of the characters came out later in the afternoon. It ran from like 10 a.m. to about 5 p.m., I think.
Okay.
We were there for like an hour or so.
Was that in Asheville?
Yeah, it was. It was. I was gonna say it's technically not, but I think it's still considered part of the city. That's the first any kind of convention that I've been to as far as Comic-Con or anything like that. I didn't buy anything. I should have, but I didn't. I don't know why. It was $5 entry, so it was like really small scale. But and we saw the yellow Camaro from Transformers, the Bumblebee, which I was disappointed there weren't more cars because sometimes they'll have like a 66 Batmobile, or I think they've had it the Ecto one from Ghostbusters, different cars. Even like Knight Rider, like all the kit from Knight Rider. I don't know why I called the car Knight Rider, but they've had different cars, and it was a smaller. They didn't have the convention last year because COVID was a big deal, and I think maybe this year it was just slower getting things together, and they didn't know probably for a large part of the beginning of the year if they're going to do it or not. So I'm sure a lot of it was last minute. So many really cool toys and collectibles. I wanted to buy so many of them, but I had very, very little money. Not very little money, but it compared to like what all was available to buy, I had very little money because I saw a comic on a wall that was Batman comics, I think, or it could have been still Detective Comics. I don't remember the issue number, but it was a very early issue, probably like 40s or 50s.
Oh, wow.
And it was $800. It was the first appearance of Alfred. And I'm seeing books like this that are that valuable. It's like, yeah, I have very little money because $800 books. I didn't look through the comics that much because there was a whole wall of comics, another wall of comics, different vendors throughout with comics. It's like, if I start looking at comics, I'm going to get overloaded and not be able to focus. So I just kind of focused on like looking out for cosplayers and all this fun stuff, just taking it all in. I saw one booth that had old video games that like were like the original Nintendo that was still sealed in the packaging from 1989. In 1991, different versions came out and they were all sealed. There was one that was the Japanese import, original packaging, like 1990, still sealed. I'm like, geez. For me, I'm like kind of electronic kind of nerd, so I love gaming and like all these things. And to see something like that in front of me that was still wrapped, it was like I traveled through time like 20 years, 30 years, whatever. And that was really cool to see. So all in all, it was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I didn't buy anything. I kind of wish I would have, but they had one thing I really wish I would have gotten was, I believe I sent you a picture of that. I was saying I am worthy with Thor's hammer,
That was cool.
That was all foam. Like, these people make these tools, and like the Legend of Zelda video game series, they had his shield and sword. They're all like foam material, but they're really good detail and quality. And they even have these frying pans. They're just like a frying pan, and you pick it up. It's the same like scale and size and everything, but it's all rubber foam kind of material. And so it's like, let me hit you with this, and they're like, no, and it like barely, they have sledgehammers, all kinds of cool little props like that. I really wish I would have gotten some of those. Especially, I could take the hammer and put two nails up on the wall and just put the hammer on the nail. It's like, no one has to know that that's foam. It could be metal. It could be the real Thor's hammer. Who knows? I could glue it to if it was like an actual stone or whatever, I could super glue it to a countertop and be like, you're not worthy because you can't pick it up. And then everybody would be like, oh man. And then, yeah. But it was a fun experience.
Yeah. Down here, the San Diego Comic-Con is really big every year down here. I've wanted, it's a 2-hour drive. I've wanted to go to that one for a while, just because it is sort of like the Comic-Con of all Comic-Cons.
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's the global Comic-Con of the world.
But, yours was $5. Tickets for that Comic-Con is
like 500.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's a multi-day thing.
It's like a week long or something, or like 4 days.
It really is. And I've never had the money where I could go and invest that. But man, I feel like, considering how pent up we've been all this time, I'm due for a Comic-Con when they do open up.
I'm going to start going to more of these, because I know before I was always working or something, so I never could. And now it's like, if I have the chance, there was one in South Carolina a while back that I just didn't go to because I was like, well, I don't want to drive down there. And it's like an hour and a half away. It's not that far, hour and 15 minutes, whatever. I just didn't go. And this one I was like, I want to go. And it was funny too, because, Friday, North Carolina lifted their mask mandates.
Oh, they did.
So yeah, now if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask anywhere. And social distance is supposedly lifted and all this stuff. But that's if you're fully vaccinated. If you're not, then they still suggest that you do these things. But I don't know if it's a happy moment or like I'm still concerned kind of moment. Like, I'm good because I'm fully vaccinated and all this. I can go lick the doorknob right over here, go down the road, lick that doorknob. I'll be fine. Well, maybe not fine, but fine from COVID, I guess. Because if I'm licking doorknobs, there's something going on.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, honestly. It's kind of exciting.
I'm excited for the slow eventual return to normalcy. Concern is that how do we know a person who's vaccinated from a person who's not vaccinated and never wore a mask to begin with?
Yeah.
I think that the truth though is that if I'm vaccinated and you're vaccinated, an unvaccinated person is no threat to me.
Right.
Right. I'm not in any danger. My family's not in any danger. And I'm not really any danger to them. That said, they're still going to be a danger to each other. Right.
And there's a slight chance that a vaccinated person like myself or you or anybody else could still carry, COVID and then transmit it to someone. But yet the chances of that are way less. And they say that if that does happen, the effectiveness of the virus is even lower because it can't take its hold on you as well. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, everybody that wants to get the vaccine has had the opportunity to get it. nobody's been excluded from that. So it's not like they haven't been given the opportunity. And I think at some point, people deserve the right to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
Whether or not I think it's a wise choice, I don't. I generally feel like I don't necessarily think it's the government's job to mandate everything.
No, I mean, you should never force anyone to get a vaccine for anything. Like forcing them to do it. I don't think that's.
If you don't think that getting a vaccine that has, at least 200 years of proven efficacy in order to potentially save the lives of the people you love and yourself, then again, it's on you. And I don't mean to make this podcast a platform necessarily for a political ideology or nation. But I do feel like ultimately, things are gonna open up, and people are gonna have to decide. I do think though that there are people who are going to continue to wear masks even when they're vaccinated.
Oh yeah.
Once this is done,
I've seen comments on Facebook and places, and it's just ridiculous to how like this attitude shifts around so much. Like for the longest time, like you'll never see me in a mask. This is ridiculous. America, my rights. Okay, fine. And then now you're seeing North Carolina lifts mask mandate, no longer required. I'm never taking my mask off. You can't make me. It's like no one is making you take it off.
Yeah.
Like it just blows my mind that some people read a simple headline of you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Well, you better watch me. I will do something about it. Like, okay, like whatever.
I do think that there are people out there who love making mountains out of molehills.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we don't need to argue about this. If you think after everything we've gone through, that wearing a mask has helped you to stay healthier, not just from COVID, but from the common cold and the flu, then by all means, keep wearing a mask. And if you want to go and keep living your life the way that it was before, and then by all means, go and do so. I think people have. I think for a lot of people, though, this has been an eye opener about, just how we didn't seem to care a whole lot about how germs spread. I mean, you realize that a big part of prevention was simply telling people to wash their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know if that concerns you a little bit.
A little bit. I mean,
if your major marketing to prevent disease spread is wash your hands, how many people were not washing their hands
exactly
before this whole thing started?
And I get teased. Well, I used to get teased by an old girlfriend, like parents and friends and things. I would wash my hands. There's been times where I'm just washing my hands like normal to eat, and I wash my hands for like 2 straight minutes, literal 2 minutes. And like that's a little excessive, maybe, but I've always been kind of OCD about clean hands when I'm going to I'll sit here and touch the floor and do all these things, but before I eat or anything like that, I always have to wash my hands.
Yeah.
And I do it extensively. I'm scrubbing for like not 10 minutes, but like they say, what is it? Like 20 seconds or something like that. I do at least 3 times that. I mean,
there's supposed to be a song you're supposed to sing.
I think it's Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen.
Right. You're washing your hands for a full 6 minutes.
Yeah. That's me. Or in my case, hear the song twice.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I've always been that way. I don't know why. I think maybe one day I picked up a French fry from the ground. It had dirt on it. It tasted weird. And ever since then, I'm like, ew, no. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you stop eating French fries from the ground.
Yeah, I probably should. And my mom told me when I was a little kid, like 2 years old, 1 year old, that I used to eat cigarette butts out of ashtrays.
No.
I don't remember it, obviously.
No. If you ate cigarette butts out of ashtrays, then you don't need to worry about COVID or anything like that. I think at that point you are immune.
I mean, apparently I got really, really sick, but I don't remember them. I haven't tried to eat them since I was a little kid, so maybe one day I'll try them again. Nope, still not my thing. Like,
Yeah, let's. I would encourage you not to do that.
yeah, I don't think I will. But yeah, movies. Any kind of movies coming out like in the near future? Because I haven't really kept up with film, and it's been 2020 taught me that like don't get excited about anything. I mean, not to not get excited, but like that, things that were coming just weren't
I
coming
know.
anymore. And so
Yeah,
now you're just like,
I
I
think
mean, look,
I'm definitely excited about the superhero movies that are coming out.
yeah.
Like Loki. Um, what else?
Oh gosh, what is it? I know Black Adam
Yeah,
is coming, which is interesting. And I've been hearing more and more rumors, which it's not like reports like real news, but it's rumored that Warner Brothers is really wanting to like mesh all these universes together and have like the Arrowverse. Because I remember there was a conversation on some sort of like rumor site that says the potential for Dwayne the Rock Johnson's Black Adam to kind of cross over and maybe hang out with the Legends or Flash or something like that. And I'm like, man, that would be awesome. That would
right.
be amazing. I mean,
But we so far we have not seen the movie versions of these characters cross over with the TV versions.
the only thing we've
But
seen was Ezra Miller in Crisis on Infinite Earths. But aside from that, that was the only situation, only time that we
we'll see.
know.
I think that what they're dealing with as far as the multiverse, um, with or the alternate Earths that we're going to see in the new Flash movie. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably going to deal with it. And oddly enough, I think we're going to get something similar um, in the MCU with
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness, and um, then Spider-Man
Oh gosh,
Home.
I'm excited. I mean, Alfred Molina. If I'm excited to see how that works and why and who. We know 100% guaranteed, confirmed. Alfred Molina, Doctor Octopus, pulled from the timeline in the Sam Raimi. You can call it the Raimi verse, whatever, or the Toby verse. He's pulled from that time and put right back into the MCU, and it's like, okay, cool. Who did it? Why did they do it? Like, that's so interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what we know is at the end of WandaVision, Wanda is seen with the Darkhold, trying to find ways. She wants to bring her children back,
Yep.
right? The children that she gave birth to in a reality she created and had to let go of. I think she wants to certainly bring them back. But what is she willing to do in order to make that happen? And I think that's certainly, um, I think that her desperation to do that. We know that she enslaved an entire town
Yeah.
the first time. What might she be willing to do the second?
Enslaved two towns.
Yeah, well, I think it's gonna be bigger. I think that we're gonna,
World.
we know that in House of M that she essentially, rewrote the universe,
Yeah.
and so that was just sort of like the tip of the iceberg as far as what she's capable of doing. We do know that it does coincide with Doctor Strange, and so either
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is going to come in and stop her, or somehow they're going to work together. That he is going to teach her, which I think is that's certainly something that she's been lacking. Is though she's able to use her powers, she doesn't know how they work.
Right.
Doctor
And she's
Strange is the opposite. That he has studied this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
He's the new Sorcerer Supreme. Who better to instruct her than him?
Merlin the Wizard. No.
Merlin the Wizard. We need to get Merlin. So that's kind of I'm really, 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 really excited about that coming out. And then what else? I know that
Fast and Furious 10 or whatever. No, or not. It's not a superhero movie, but I mean, it's a movie.
I know. You know what's hilarious is that Danny and I went and saw the first Fast and Furious movie at Harkins Theater here in here. Well, it's in Redlands.
Okay.
And I had forgotten just how much I liked that movie.
So, I really enjoyed the first one.
You laugh about Fast and the Furious, but I absolutely, I just realized, first of all, it was filmed in the 90s. There's kind of the nostalgia for that. But even not being a car person necessarily, I found that I really enjoyed it. There was more to it than just being a fast car movie.
Especially as the movies went on too, because it became less about racing and more about heists and other things, and more action based than car based. And I really I loved all the movies, honestly. Tokyo Drift was probably my least favorite, but I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it as much, which is odd because I love Japan and Japanese culture and stuff, and you would think that a movie based in Japan I would love. But
yeah, what's hilarious is that I think Danny had said that was her favorite. Was Tokyo Drift. So I won't tell her if you don't.
Like block.
Right.
Unfriend and block.
We'll get an angry response here tonight.
I mean, I did like the movie. It was just kind of confusing, the order and how they kill Han off, and then he comes back and he's not dead anymore. It's confusing the way, because they filmed him so out of order. Like in the movie itself, I think what it was the fact that there was no Paul Walker. There was the Vin Diesel cameo later on at the end, but I mean, for the large part of the movie, it was like, who are these people? This has nothing to do with the original. It's like it kind of took you out of it for a little bit, and I think that's not what I hated about it, but it was harder to grab me.
Right, we were certainly taking it in a different direction.
Yeah.
I feel like when you get movies that have these these long series, I think that it's hard. At some point, you run out of gas.
Yeah.
Right? You run out of gas, and I call movies like that like The Land Before Time. Did you ever watch The Land Before Time when you were younger?
Oh, yeah. Like Land Before Time, number 27, 28, 29.
Land Before Time and The Quest for More Money. And even as a kid, I would watch those movies and go, what the crap is this? You're like,
they're still doing this? Like,
I know. Aren't they dead yet? Hasn't the asteroid landed?
Yeah, really. This must have been like from the very beginning of dinosaurs.
And it's the same thing with the Ice Age movies, right? They did the same thing. So I feel like sometimes, whether it's a TV show or whether it's a movie, controversial opinion, but sometimes you need to know when to stop, right? You need to let something die.
Toy Story.
Yeah. That said, some people love every single one of those movies, and I guess I'm not gonna steal that from them.
No,
just poke fun at them a little bit.
They suck. Or here's a John Lovitz. It stinks. If you remember the Critic cartoon, I love that cartoon. I don't really like John Lovitz as much anymore. I don't know what it is, but
I write my own material.
Yeah, I love the Critic and his little son. What was his son's name? Like Eugene or something like that, or like, oh gosh, I can't remember. He had like curly hair and played a tuba or something.
You remember him in The Wedding Singer?
Barely. I do remember kind of.
And I'm reaping all benefits.
I really liked him in the David Spade movie, Dickie Roberts.
Yeah.
Which I thought he was great in the movie. because you had Rob Reiner and you had John Lovitz and David Spade. I mean, it was like, okay, cool. You've got a lot of these guys in there. And a lot of other child actors from like the 70s and 80s as well. You had Denny Bonaducci, I think, was in there, maybe Leif Garrett. Like, there was so many people. I was like, holy crap, they're all in this movie. And it was a decent movie. It was a pretty good story. I love David Spade, though. I mean, going all the way back to Tommy Boy, like, Tommy Boy is still probably one of my favorite movies. I don't know. 90s, very 90s, but really good.
So that duo of David Spade and Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Right? That you had that sort of Laurel and Hardy kind of vibe from them, modern, you got Chris Farley, who is the nutball over the top, and then you have the other guy who he's the straight man, right?
Yeah, he's very sarcastic. He's sarcastic, but he's very like dead serious and like really like just smug and unhappy and like just kind of angry all the time. But it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had his moments, but
yeah. I think it's crazy that when you think back on celebrities that you really enjoyed when you were younger and just realize, we still have some of them with us, but a lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of them are just
Chris Farley's, the John Candys.
There's so many more that I don't remember.
Right. There's so many more that have passed on over the years.
The longest time I thought Louis Anderson had passed away, but he's still alive. I'm like, because I remember watching Louis Anderson. He had that did he have a cartoon in the 90s?
Life with Louis?
Life with Louis, yes.
Yeah.
And that show went off the air, and then he hosted Family Feud for a little while in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and then disappeared. And I'm just like, what happened to him? And talking to somebody like, yeah, Louis, and I'm like, Louis Anderson died. Like, no, he didn't. I'm like, yeah, he did. I just assumed he had, because every, good comedian like out of the 90s seems like they were dropping off. So I was like, well, maybe he did. But then, yeah, there were some. I know I wish I could think of all of them. There's so many, but Chris Farley was one of my favorite ones, to be honest. I loved Tommy Boy. It is such a shame that they didn't get a chance to do more of those duo like buddy comedies because they were so good. They tried again with Black Sheep, which was basically Tommy Boy 2.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. I mean, I still appreciate the movie because there are some really good jokes in there, very quotable lines. But I mean, Gary Busey's pretty funny in that movie, but
it's just like you'll find when it comes to writing a script that you could write one good script, but trying to write two, right? Or to write one better than your best script, right? You talk about people who peak. They write their Lord of the Rings, and then what do you follow that with by, right? So it's tough.
Not everybody can be like a John Hughes or like a, where you're like, I'm sure like John Hughes wrote something that's like, oh, this is garbage. And then like the next thing came out, like it was good. People like that who have so many good movies. It's like, even though they've got a huge library of like amazing movies, not to say like I'm a huge John, like, not to say I'm like a huge fan, but like people that are well known, even in between their more well known movies, they have like 3 or 4 that are garbage.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have good and bad, I guess. I do miss Chris Farley though. Anyway, it's not the Chris Farley show. It's funny though. Remember that? Remember when you were in that movie? Yeah, that was awesome. His sketch from SNL where he played. I think it was just the Chris Farley show.
Right.
And then of course Matt Foley, who was the inspirational speaker or motivational speaker or whatever.
You're gonna live down by the river, living on government cheese.
Yeah. Well, the first one I saw, the first Matt Foley sketch I saw was David Spade was in it with Chris Farley, and I was just like, this is amazing. But yeah, so hopefully Lee Newton's all right. I'm sure she's fine. She was on her way home.
Yeah, I think that we all know that emergencies happen, and and I think that again, it'll just build up more of that anticipation.
Oh yeah.
So next week, and we'll continue with that with the giveaway opportunity for you guys to like and share and follow us on Twitter and get more opportunities to win. So,
and if you forgot those Twitter handles, you can follow Mark Guggenheim. You can follow at Pod and Hard Place, CJ Kirk 1979, and me at Stephen Colton.
All right.
So yeah, and then you can also follow our buddies Jay and Todd, which I don't have their stuff on here right now. I thought I did, but it's wait, here it is. I'm smarter than I thought I was. I can't stop talking about those dudes. I don't know what it is. I mean, just the other day, and I noticed, where I think like Jay posted about, like, somebody asked, show a movie that's special to you or something, and he posted Northwood Pie, and then you say, go watch it, and I come back, go watch it, and then they're probably sick of us talking about that movie. I don't know, but follow at Northwood Pie.
Yeah.
And then follow Jay and Todd as well, because those dudes are awesome. They're helping me with writing. Northwood Pie is awesome. I just watched it again the other day while eating pizza. Made it better.
Well, you have to. Here's what I honestly like about our podcast is if you come onto the podcast as a guest in any way, shape, or form, I think we build a relationship with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we keep in contact, that we are going to try to welcome you back, and we're going to, every time we get an opportunity, we're gonna keep celebrating what you're doing.
Speaking of all that, I have a Clerk's pen on my hat.
Sweet.
And then I have a Lee Newton t-shirt. I'm talking about Jay and Todd. Like, we've covered almost every guest we've had in this one conversation.
Yeah.
And this goes to what goes with what you're saying. Like, you come on, we build this relationship, and we're going to talk about, what you do. And I tell people all the time about how, John Wesley Shipp likes our tweets. And he does. Like, I've noticed it's almost a semi-regular thing. I mean, he's never been on here, but I mean, still, you build those connections, and it's like, we genuinely care. Like,
we talk about speaking things into existence, right? That was a term that Lee had used the last time that we were with her.
Mm-hmm. And it worked for her.
It did. And so we've kind of decided that is certainly the direction that we're taking things, is that we're gonna keep talking about it until it happens. So
$1 million, $1 million, $1 million.
Well, it's just like the duet that we mentioned on the show last week. Lee and I had made the decision not to do the duet tonight because we didn't want to try to throw something together at the last minute. I wanted to make whatever we do showcases her favorably, and so it deserved to be given more time. So she still wants to do it, which is great. But we wouldn't even be having that conversation if I hadn't just kind of offhandedly, said that I would like to do it.
Yeah.
Last episode. So.
And I thought it was kind of funny too tonight when originally I thought, everything was going to go as we had discussed, and then you were going to sing with Lee and everything. And I realized I don't really watch a lot of, live network TV anymore. But my mom was telling me, I'm watching American Idol tonight. I probably won't watch your podcast. I was like, okay, that's fine. You can watch it later. And I was like, wait, we're going to compete with a singing thing against a show that's all about singing.
Right.
Wow. Didn't think we were going to pull in any kind of American Idol numbers. But still, I mean, you never know. 16 million people could have been watching this tonight.
I think that what we put out there is valid. It's worthy of watchers. I've certainly watched Absolute Garbage before.
Oh, yeah.
So I just think there are people that like everything. They just don't know they like us yet. So,
I've watched my share of garbage, like
Yeah.
the third Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh my gosh, why?
Talk about garbage. It was garbage. I
Was
thought the garbage truck was going to come along and pick it up, but it never did.
Was that the one that took place in feudal Japan?
Yeah, I mean, not that, the culture, the Japanese, like, I bought a video game a while back based in that same kind of time frame. Ancient Japan, samurais, horses, like, it's an interesting idea and culture to me. I appreciate it, but it's not turtles. It just makes no sense. And these, like, 16th century, like, ancient samurais get transported to New York City and eat pizza and play in arcades while, like, watching cartoons. Like,
it has been so long since I've seen that movie, but I remember even in my 14-year-old self going, "What was that?"
I mean, I used to have the VHS as a kid. As a kid, I loved it. I had the little toys with it. Everything. I grew up, and everybody's like, "Turtles 3 sucks. Turtles 3 sucks." And growing up, I thought Turtles 2 was the best. And it wasn't until I actually, became an adult and rewatched them all, I was like, 3 completely sucks. It can go and jump in the garbage can. Number 2 is like, it's okay, but it's more of a kiddie movie. And then number 1 was like the best Turtles movie ever made. I can appreciate it now because the first one was dark and gritty, a lot more like the original comics. And 2 was just, they were too afraid that weapons were too violent and scary for children, so they made it into, and they said damn all over the first movie. Raphael's like, I lost the side. Damn. And it's like, okay. As like an 8-year-old, I'm like, oh, is he allowed to say that? But and then the second one, they're like having to use beef jerky and yo-yos, but as a weapon. But yeah, they still have their weapons strapped on them, but they just can't use them. It's like, okay.
Props now.
Then Turtles 3, they have swords, so figure it out. I don't know. My Turtles 2 was so special and dangerous, but
I mean, I know we're kind of wrapping things up here, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't know what it was about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that really, captivated my imagination as a kid. I mean, I remember I was in elementary school and we made the Ninja Turtle Club, and we would spend our lunch times, practicing our moves and beating the crap out of each other. I mean, my brother and I, in our backyard, we would make our own weapons, and you would have thought we would become assassins or something.
No.
We weren't very good. Never took a karate class, but we, definitely made enough nunchucks and bow staffs,
Right.
years. But I don't know what it is about that. It seems like the love for martial arts and mutants and all of that. I mean, it was just.
I love it. I mean, I don't like the newer ones. There's cartoon. There have been cartoons for years. And they're going to come out with another rebooted movie. It's going to be all CG, apparently. More like an animated style. Rumored to be connected to the original 3 movies. So we'll see what happens with that. I've enjoyed Turtles. The original cartoon, I have the entire series on DVD. I think it came out, 89? The original cartoon. But yeah, Turtles. So this has been fun.
We have certainly kept things going. So
we will speak with Lee next week. Here, I got a message from her actually. There's a couple of voice messages from Lee. Well, not voice messages, but little voice notes. But yeah, I'm excited. So next week we'll have her back on. And yeah, we'll do the giveaway. We'll do all that. She's going to have a t-shirt, a CD, bunch of goodies to give away. I'm really excited for her. I'm excited to put all the names on the wheel and spin it. I like wheels. I like spinning things, even though I can't physically spin it.
Apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I look forward to doing this again next week.
Definitely. And yeah, hopefully I'll watch some Mandalorian by then.
Yeah.
We won't talk about it probably unless, hey, Lee, you want to talk about the Mandalorian? Who knows? Maybe she does.
Yeah. We'll at least give us some time or give you some time to get a couple of episodes under your belt.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week. And sorry to everybody out there again, but stay tuned. We'll have all that good stuff next week.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care.